Big Mama Energy.
I'm Brittany.
And I am Tia.
Period.
Alright. And we have another video for you guys, okay? Yes. So you already know what season we are in.
We are in Cancer season.
Okay.
Alright.
So yes, we are back with our Surviving Cancer.
Surviving Cancer, honey.
Video. Alright. But you already know, before we get into the video, you definitely want to go ahead and subscribe.
Do that now.
Now, please.
Get it out
and
the
thank
way.
you. Yes. Alright. And also click that bell so you can get our notifications anytime we drop our video.
Yes. That you love.
Go ahead.
And tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend.
Okay.
Share this shit.
Definitely share it, okay? And as we are talking about these wonderful cancers, make sure you guys are engaged, active, commenting, liking this video, giving it a big thumbs up, okay? Yes, be active, please, and thank you, and share. All right, so we about to get into it.
Get into these cancers.
So yes, cancers.
These cancers. I am drawn to cancers for whatever reason. You guys should know my sign if you've been following. But if you haven't, I'm an Aquarius. And I don't know. I am a Scorpio moon. So maybe that's it. Like, I'm drawn to cancers. Cancers reel me in. It's a love-hate thing. Let me let you know. Okay, I have dealt with, that I know of, two cancer men that I know of. Currently with one. The one that I was previously with, that was a cancer who gave me hell. Like, y'all cancers be cancering. Like, listen.
Indeed.
That one was child cheese. It just was a long story. We met, it was a vibe. It was that. Now that's one thing about a cancer, it's a vibe. From what I've experienced, cancer men, it's always a turn up, always a vibe. Like, funny, you know what I mean? It started out good. It started out good. He was like on my top, like a skelly, if I must say. But I was like kind of like ignoring him a little bit, whatever. But eventually I was like, you know what? You want to take me on a date? Take me on a date, whatever. So we started dating. And I thought he was funny. Like, I liked him a lot. He didn't really want a relationship. I did. Like, I saw myself, you know, in a relationship eventually. And he was like, well, you know, I don't really want a relationship. Should have listened to that. Because he didn't want one at that point. So me, I was like, oh, all right, well, like, I'm about to start doing me then.
Right.
I was like, you don't want a relationship? Cool. I'm going to start doing me. And I went on a date, had a good time. He was mad as shit. He didn't think I was going to go. And I posted that shit being petty, like, oh, yeah, being treated like a queen, honestly, as I should be, you know. And then he was mad, and I guess he was feeling like, okay, I don't want her dating other people. So we got into a relationship, boom. We in a relationship, everything going good, so I thought, boom, I get pregnant. So we definitely locked in, you know, at least that's what I feel. You know, and it just was like, he had a lot of anger issues. A lot of anger issues, you know what I mean? I don't know. I felt like one minute he was happy, the next minute he was ready to fight.
Well, he had trauma.
He had some trauma. And granted, I used to be the same way.
That's the trauma.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Like, the whole time he was doing his thing, I found out, like, after, you know, the baby came, I had my daughter, I found out, like, he was doing his thing. The whole time. Like, was cheating. You know what I mean? And I was like, well, damn. That's crazy, because I like to cheat, too. You know what I mean? I didn't know he was cheating. So, now that, you know, now that I know we cheat, because I was really, you know what I mean? Yeah. So now that I know this is what we doing, and I'm sitting here being faithful for no apparent reason, like, okay, it's up now. And that's when the toxicity started to set in.
Right.
Like, instead of exiting, like, I started cheating back, you know what I mean? And it was just, it was not good. Yeah, it wasn't good, child. I was acting crazy, baby, because it was like, postpartum is a bitch. Like, after you have your baby, whatever, you couldn't go through postpartum. And like, I felt like he was cheating with some girl. You know, it's always an old acquaintance. And I was like really so distraught, and I remember like being in such a bad place and like wanting to like fight this girl and all kind of shit. Dumb, misplaced anger, because if it wasn't her, it would have been somebody else.
Right.
But yeah, he took me on a roller coaster, you know, and eventually we decided to separate, which was for the best, you know, because we just weren't bringing out the best in each other. It was like we had some fun moments, you know what I mean? It was love, but it was just crazy. Y'all heard that. But yeah, it was just crazy. It was a fucking roller coaster. Never a dull moment. You know what I mean? I was definitely on some crazy in love shit. And you know, once it was time to let go, I definitely let go. I will say that. I was like, you know what? This ain't working. So we both decided to go our separate ways. So that was my first Cancer. And I was like, I swear for God, I ain't never dated another Cancer a day in my life. That's how I felt. Right. Like, that's how that ended. I was like, I'm not dating no more Cancer men. I'm gonna ask you, what's your sign as soon as I meet you? Because, baby. So, a little later on down the line, I meet what is now my husband, okay? And he's a Cancer. And I'm like, damn, these Cancers. And mind you, it kind of started off the same. Like, he was trying to talk to me over the course of years. I wasn't trying to talk to him because I was with my daughter's dad. You know what I mean? So he would say stuff to me, but I wouldn't really, you know, respond or anything. But then eventually when I was single, I'm like, look, what is up with this guy? He asked me to go on a date. He's like, let me take you to the art museum. I'm like, okay, cool. Finally let him take me to the art museum. And when I met him in person, because this was all online, y'all. When I met him in person, I was like, oh, this is a tall, fine, chocolate man. And like, I was not expecting that. For some reason, I thought he was short. He don't know how to take good pictures. So I just was like, oh my God, like, for me, like, yo, thank you, God, honestly. I was like, wow. And it was just instant chemistry. Like, that's kind of how it was. It just was like, once we met, like, we were like inseparable, you know? And I didn't know if it would be something serious or if this was just gonna be a little friend. But I was with it. I'm like, he's cool as shit. Like, we had so much to talk about. We were so compatible. And I was just like, oh my gosh. So this Cancer, it was just a whole different ball game. Like, it was, you know, it was different. He was into me, you know, and just me.
Right.
You know what I mean? He didn't need no other women. So that's the thing, like, with the whole signs, you know, don't write them off, all of them. I know some of them will give you hell. But you can meet somebody who's the same sign and they just a completely different person. Right. Mind you, their birthday is like a couple days apart, but two different people. So it was just like, that was a great experience. Like, you know, as y'all know, we got married last year in October 3rd. So yeah, it's coming up on the year. So yeah, like, that Cancer just blew me away, you know, and it's just been good ever since. Like, so that's the thing. Like, it's weird. I have a Cancer that it just was very toxic, and then I have a Cancer where it's just, it works and we gel together, and it's just like, you know, that's my person. So
yeah, and that's the thing too. It has to do with evolvement, maturity.
Yeah, maturity.
Like, you know,
he's definitely evolved. He's an evolved Cancer.
He's
not that
he's definitely
perfect,
mature than, you know, the first Cancer.
And he wants to be in a relationship. You know what I mean?
Right.
He wants the things that I want. So that's why it works. You know what I mean? Right. So you gotta listen too. You gotta listen to what people say. People will tell you, like, if they don't want a relationship, believe them, because they're not lying. Like, for real. So yeah, like, this Cancer is just, he's knocked me off my socks, and I've just been smitten ever since. So it's like, I don't know, I'm drawn to the Cancers. Yeah, I'm drawn to the Cancers. They are very good people. Like, my husband is such a good person, and not to say the other one isn't. I feel like they're genuine people, straight up. Such a good person, you know, kind-hearted. It'll be times where I'm like a bitch, pretty much, sometimes. You know, he'd be like, yes, listen. He like, just chill. You know what I mean? Like, he's definitely the yin to my yang, like, for sure. He keeps me grounded, he keeps me balanced, and we kind of do that for each other. So many good qualities. So many good qualities. I feel like I saw both aspects of a Cancer, but definitely funny and a turned up person, for sure. In my experience, one thing a Cancer gonna do, they're gonna turn up. Like, they're gonna party from the rip. I feel like when they're comfortable and they get to know you, you know what I mean, they comfortable with you, you'll see that other side where they just, and now it's gonna be fun. Yeah, okay. You know, now it's gonna be a good time. So yeah, I love my Cancer man. I really do.
Have you ever had any like experiences with like Cancer women?
Cancer women. You know what? Actually, yes, I have.
Okay.
And it's a scary fucking thing. Let me tell you something. Cancer women are.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah, Cancer. I'm glad you brought it up because Cancer women are fatal attraction to me.
Mm.
I'm talking about fatal attraction. They love hard. Now, I'm gonna say, for the most part, I feel like they're good people. But when they don't get their way, it's gonna be crazy. They're gonna throw a fucking fit. Excuse me. They're gonna throw a fit when they don't get their way. If you're together, be careful because if you do anything to her, yeah, she's gonna come back with a fucking vengeance. Bride of Chucky, Cancer. No, I'm saying, but like. That's what I get from the women. Like, they're very passionate. Mind you, the Cancer men are passionate people in general. Cancers are passionate. So if you play with them, you will see an ugly side. You will see an ugly side. And that's on both ends. Like, if you hurt their feelings, oh baby, they gonna get their look back. So you gotta tread lightly. Like, treat them accordingly or be prepared for what's gonna come after that shit. Cause I used to work with a Cancer woman. And she was just sweet as pie. Sweet as pie. Until she wasn't. And I'm like, oh damn, she turned up. Like, so, I mean, yeah. Yeah. Definitely sweet as pie until they're not.
I can see that.
Until they're not. And I mean, definitely emotional as hell. I know that's like a lot of people say that, but yes, Cancers are emotional. They definitely are. Like, they wear their heart on their sleeve for the most part. And if you don't see the sensitive side of them, you might see the crazy side of them, like the angry side, you know what I mean? But they definitely gonna give you some type of emotion. Yeah. For sure. What do you think? What was your experience?
My first experience with dealing with Cancer, one of my best friends is a Cancer. And I mean, we were like sisters. Like, so we got along really well. And the thing with Cancers and Capricorns, we're polar opposites. But we're a lot alike. Like, the crazy thing is people always talk about like how Cancers are super emotional. A lot of people try to say Capricorns don't have a heart. Right. That's not true.
That's not true, yeah.
The thing is, Cancers and Capricorns are a lot alike. Like, when it comes to emotions. However, me as a Capricorn, I'm more logical. Like, when it comes to things, like, I think a little bit more. I'm a little bit more reasonable. When it comes to things, logical. I think, you know, with Cancers, they're more emotional. They go for their emotions. Whereas though, like, yeah, I might be emotional and sensitive to a situation, but I'm not going to let that kind of blind me of everything that's going on. So I feel like we get along well because of that reason. But at the same time, it could be very hard for us to communicate because of that. Because Cancer might feel like Capricorn is on some nut shit or being insensitive.
Right. To their emotions.
To their emotions. Whereas though they're not really understanding like my logic to it. All they know is their feelings hurt and that's it. And you need to understand that and that's all. You know. So I feel like that's kind of weird. Capricorn and Cancer kind of like really butt heads a lot. Because that's kind of what it was with me and my friend. Like, first of all, the type of person I am, I'm like very honest. So I'm going to kind of tell you how it is. Like, and even if, like, I was just having this conversation with you earlier, like, my intentions are always pure, you know, it's always genuine. I never intend to hurt anybody's feelings. And I feel like, you know, a lot of people don't, but that's just what it is. We're going to hurt somebody.
And you never know how they're going to take what you say. What people are going to take in general.
People going to take what you say. And that's kind of how it is with me. And I feel like I've definitely calmed down, like my spiciness a little bit. I feel like I definitely used to say the first thing that came to my mind when I was younger. Not to say that I don't now, because I feel like I still do, but
you think before you know.
I do. I think before I say stuff, but sometimes I don't. And I mean,
it depends on the situation.
It depends on the situation.
Hey.
It really depends on the situation and how things are going. But yeah, I was about to say Capricorns. Cancers are really fun. They're really fun people, especially like you said, when you get to know them, they show you a different side of them.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them may want to keep to themselves a lot because they're so emotional and so sensitive to certain things. They might not want to be around certain people.
They pick up a lot of stuff. They pick up other people's emotions. They are you know, very sensitive to what's going on. I feel like they have like psychic capabilities.
Yeah,
it's me.
My Cancer friend, she's a super homebody. Like, I'm talking about super duper homebody. Like, when we were younger, yeah, we used to go out and stuff like that, but as we got a little older, she just stayed in the house like a lot. But good time, good conversation. She liked to do fun things. She's definitely into fashion, so like we clicked on a lot of things. I could definitely see why we were friends. We definitely had a falling out because I feel like, like I said, my bluntness at times, hurt her feelings. And instead of just expressing that to me, I feel like it just built up, like, I don't want to say animosity, but like she just, something like that. And it kind of like had like put a wedge in between our relationship or whatever for a long time. And now we're like rebuilding and regaining that back, but like for a long time that was the thing. And I feel like with Capricorns and Cancers, that kind of is the story of it. Like, more so like y'all really have to learn how to communicate really well for it to be like, because it is a good relationship. Capricorn and Cancer is a good relationship and can be a good relationship and friendship and relationship, but y'all really need to know how to communicate with each other, and that's it.
I agree. You have to communicate.
Yeah, the communication. Yeah, because first of all, I'm an overthinker in general.
Yeah, and you're going to leave me to my thoughts now. Like, you gotta communicate.
So definitely over communication. Now, I did have another Cancer woman that came into my life, and it was crazy because this Cancer woman is like, we were friends, but then at the same time she liked me. And it was weird, like how we met. I feel like, the first initial interaction we had, she definitely came on to me, like in a way, like you expressed that I was attractive and you were, you know what I'm saying? So that was that. And then later on down the line we became cool and close, and actually was building a friendship and a deeper connection with one another. And like I said, we had the same interests. She knew how to dress, like fashion was a thing. We be dolls, like it was crazy. It was just really a vibe. It was just a vibe. I definitely enjoyed her energy for sure. However, when it is a love interest, when it comes to Cancer women, like Sissy said, that can get a little crazy. And I don't know, I can't really speak on how like deep she really liked me or anything, but I definitely could tell that it was a liking. It was more than just like, okay, this is my friend and that's it, and I could tell because she would get jealous when I talked about anybody that I was either talking to and things like that. She definitely wanted kind of to control what I did and how I did it a little bit. It was a lot going on. I'm like,
Cancers want you to themselves for the most part.
You guys slow down, little mamas, because what is going on? Like, you gotta relax. So I could definitely see, you know, that for sure what you said about like the women can be a little crazy, you know, and stuff like that. But
Possessive.
a little possessive, yes. Very bossy.
Very bossy.
Very bossy, because I definitely like, oh, you are bossy.
Yes.
But you can't boss me around.
Right, because you got bossy, first of all, bossy versus bossy. Who gonna win?
Yes, okay. You can't really tell me, so not too much.
Not too much.
Not fucking much. Just like, but yes, let's talk about these men.
Yes.
Okay.
Your experience
so,
with the cancer men.
my experience with cancer men. So I only really have I've only talked to one cancer.
Okay.
I might have talked to others, but
One that stood out
depends,
for
but
the most part,
yeah. So I met this cancer in 2018. Yes, it's getting that deep. It's getting that deep. I met this cancer in 2018. I was with my sister and I was with my niece. Okay, we went to my sister's old job. At the time, it was her current job, and we had like walked through the back way.
All right.
And it was connected. It was like a building. It was connected with all these different businesses and stuff like that. So when we left out the back way, it was other businesses and stuff on the other side and stuff like that. So I heard music. I was being nosy, right? So I had looked behind the thing, and I just was like, sexy ass chocolate man. Oh my God. And I just was like, oh. And then I just turned around and kept walking. So he must have like when he seen people from around that corner too, because he came outside, baby.
Okay.
And then when he came outside, he was up there. Like, I'm talking about tall, chocolate, and handsome. And I was like, oh, like, no, for real. I was shook up. I said, wow. And it was just, I don't know. So we just was talking and we exchanged numbers. And honestly, it was kind of crazy because we actually met up. So we exchanged numbers. We didn't talk too much on the phone before we actually met up. And when we met up, we did lunch one day before I had to go to work. So we had met up for lunch. And we just had like the deepest conversation. And he was just so honest with me. And it was just truly refreshing because you know, we all come with our baggage and our own things. So the fact that he was just so honest about, you know, the stuff that he'd been through, the stuff that he was currently going through, it was just refreshing, you know, to talk about. Like, so he was married before, so he, you know, was divorced. So he was open about that, you know, that situation. He was in the Navy and like he had some issues wrapped around that situation. So it was just a lot of things that he was just comfortable with telling me, and it just felt comfortable. Right. And with him, it felt like we knew each other. It was so, yeah, it was so crazy. So we had a real good night. And even in that conversation with him telling me everything, it just made me want to get to know him a little bit more. So that's what we continued to do. So he took me to work that day after we ate and stuff like that, and it was just so nice. Like, we just riding through the city holding hands and stuff like that. And then we put some light, he just started kissing, and it was just like, it was everything. So then a couple, I'm gonna say probably like 2 more weeks passed, and he just was like, you know, they're emotional. They feeling sometimes, and I think he had the stuff that he had going on, and he just didn't feel like he wanted to pull me, and he felt like it was drama. And he didn't feel comfortable with starting something new with me and pulling me into it. He just didn't feel comfortable with it, and I understood it. You know what I mean? I can't be like, oh, you know, I can't tell him what to do. Like, at the end of the day, like, I understand that we all go through stuff, but you have to be comfortable. You have to be prepared for something new. And the chemistry that we had, I understood that he didn't want to mess that up.
Right.
So I was like, okay, whatever. I understood, and we still were cool for a little bit, but it's like, child, it kind of fizzled. Like, because we just had that connection where it wouldn't have been anything else. Like, we were that drawn to each other.
Right.
So it's like, even if you said, okay, I don't want to do this with you, that's just how it was going to be.
It wasn't no friend stuff.
Yeah, it wasn't no friend stuff. Like, I already could tell. So we just wound up stop talking to each other. Years passed, probably like, when did the pandemic start?
2020.
2020. Yeah, 2 years passed. 2 years passed, and someone befriended me on Facebook. And when they befriended me, I was like, damn, this person looks familiar. But his name was not his name on Facebook. Like, it wasn't his real name. So I'm like, and then I clicked on it, and I was like, oh my God, like, it was him. And after that, it was like, we exchanged numbers again and started talking, and it was hot and heavy. It never stopped. Like, it was just
That's what
crazy.
I feel. One thing about a cancer, I feel like it is gonna be hot and heavy.
Yeah.
If they really fuck with you, if
yeah,
they connect with you, it's gonna be hot and heavy.
It was hot and heavy, like, and you know, like I said before, like, we kissed, but we never like got super intimate like that with each other, like as far as, you know, sex or anything like that. So 2020, we started talking, and it was just the same thing, the undeniable chemistry and connection that we had. It was just so crazy. And child, when we did connect in such a way, it was just, I don't know, it's so hard like to explain with me and this person. It's just like, I really feel like I know him from a different life, from another life. Like, that's the connection that I had.
That was a deep connection
with him. And so here we go again when we're talking about like Capricorn and Cancers, you know, when it comes to communication and, you know, logic, me being logical, them being more emotional. So we got into an argument. Now, mind you, it's in the middle of a pandemic at this point. Everybody's world is kind of shaken up, and I get it, like, everything is going on. So majority of us are creatures of habit. And sometimes, like, when you have routines, some people really need routines in their life.
Right.
And during this time, I learned that he's the type of person, like, when his routine is messed up, he's unbalanced. Like, it's like it throws him off. So, like, the whole thing with COVID and not working, because a lot of people lost their jobs. He had to do other things for work, but, like, it was more so, like, if people are doing Uber and DoorDash, Uber, it's like, you're making your own schedule. So, for real, it gives you, it lets you be lazy, for real, because you can do that whenever you want to. Right. So it's kind of really throwing off your routine, for real. You have to be super strict in order to keep that routine. Right. With the actual job, it's like you have to. This is your schedule. You have to go to work. So he was thrown off a lot, and I feel like, you know, not actually having that solid routine and the normal threw him off. So he just wasn't okay in the space that he was in. The job, what he was doing, he just wasn't okay with it. And one thing about it is, when somebody's not really in an okay space with themselves, there's nothing that you really can do.
Yes, ma'am.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you can try to help them through it.
Right, but you ultimately have to be good.
Yeah, you ultimately have to be good. And I think that was just a bad time for us to reconnect. Like, even though it was a good time for us, but it kind of crashed really fast because of, you know, emotions and not being able to like really properly communicate. And that's what happened. Like one thing led to another, and we were in an argument, and it was something so simple that I expressed to him. You know, he got a little loud. Like his voice went up kind of a little loud for me, and I felt like he was yelling at me, and I'm like, you know, don't yell at me. And he felt offended, I guess, and triggered for whatever reason, and it literally went left to where, you know, it just went left. Like he was telling me that I was hard of hearing because of it was too much, and it's like, bro, all I said was, you know, don't yell at me. That's it. Like we're not gonna start that, and there's nothing wrong with having boundaries. Like this is a boundary of mine. Like let's not get it messed up. I'm not coming at you disrespectfully, but just don't yell at me. You know what I mean? That's it. It went from something so simple to like every day, because we didn't stop talking to each other automatically, but it's like a everyday thing. We were going to argue and discuss the same matter. Like, why are we still arguing about this thing that happened 2 weeks ago? Like, it became too much.
It didn't sit well with him. He had to revisit it. Like,
yeah, but it's like, you know, it was just too much. So we wound up stop talking for like months, and then he pops up again.
That seems like to be the narrative of it. Like, stop talking.
No, really, we stopped talking, and then here he goes again.
Right.
And it's undeniable the connection that we have with each other, like the bond that we have. Like, I can talk to this man about anything, and I can learn things from him. That's the most attractive thing to me, is like a man that I can learn from. And he's such a sweetheart. You know, he's nice and loving, and like he's just such, I don't know, like a cuddly guy, and just so warm. Like, so the energy was always good between us. So, you know, he came back around, and we tried again. We talked about the situation, and I just expressed, and I just let him know, like, I don't want to argue with you. Like, that's never the case. You know what I mean? When I told you not to yell at me, I was just genuinely saying, do not yell at me. I don't want you to yell at me.
Make me feel.
Exactly. I don't like how it makes me feel. And then we are not going to set the tone to where you think it's okay to just be yelling at me. Like, that's just what we're not going to do, you know? And you wouldn't appreciate it if I yelled at you. So that's all I was saying to him, you know? So it seemed as if we was on a good page and we could move forward in the situation. So we started talking again or whatever, but what happened this time, I don't even know. I just feel like our communication just be like off at times.
I think at times you guys just don't understand each other.
We don't. But
what each other's trying to say in that moment. Yeah. Like, y'all don't understand what each other's trying to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like he hears me, but he's not really hearing me. And it could be the same thing for me. Like, he feels like I'm hearing him, but not really hearing him.
Yeah. I feel like it's lying on deaf ears. Upon deaf ears. Deaf ears or whatever.
We're actually in a good space now. Like, I honestly feel like in the past, because we weren't talking around my birthday. I don't think I was really talking to anybody around my birthday, because that was like right after the fire and stuff. But like when me and him started communicating more now, it's been way better. Our communication has been way better, but he's now in a better space. You know what I'm saying? He's back on his routine and doing things that, you know, that he needs. And I feel like when somebody is like off balance themselves, it's not going to be good for any type of relationship. Like, you have to work on yourself first before you can even consider being in a relationship with somebody, because it's just not going to. If you're not happy with yourself, how could you be happy with somebody else?
because in a relationship, you gotta work too. You gotta constantly work on yourself. You know, when you get in that relationship too.
Yeah.
Like that shit is a full-time job.
So I definitely, I definitely feel like, you know, that had a lot to do with in our, you know, communication skills, because you just have to learn how to communicate better and, you know, listen, you know, actually listening and paying attention. And
you learn your partner's communication, like what, you know, what they need from you. You learn that, and you kind of gotta respect that. Like, okay, some people need space.
Yeah.
Others want to talk about this shit right then and there.
Right.
And then you gotta, you know, compromise.
Yeah. So. I think, like, honestly, I feel like this is the best that we've ever been, like, with the communicating. When we do talk, it's clear communication. And I think that is, you know, that's amazing. Key. It's like everything. Communication is key. Like, I don't even know the last time we argued. It's been like, because most of the time, it's like, it'd be for nothing. Like, because we never really had a valid reason or big reasons to argue. It just be dumb shit. And then it turns into something big because, you know, when you don't know how to properly communicate with one another, it just seemed like the craziest thing. Right. And it turns into, like, the wildest thing. But,
it can. That's why you gotta, like you said, you gotta communicate, you gotta talk. Because that shit happens, you know? It might hurt Cancer's feelings.
Yeah. And I think I heard, and the crazy thing is, like I said before, like, I'm very, like, intentional. You know, genuine. So I never will intentionally hurt somebody's feelings.
But they took it a certain way.
Exactly. You know, and I feel like I have hurt his feelings, but I didn't do it intentionally.
Of course, like, but it's just like he took it a different way. You thought he was going to take it. Yeah. People receive stuff differently. Yeah. You know what I mean? You be like, damn, what did I say? Like, you know, but people receive it differently, just like we receive it differently. Cancers are very sensitive. Right. You know?
And just with me saying, you know, don't yell at me, you know, he probably felt like he wasn't really yelling.
Right, he didn't hear himself, but just like you was.
But you like, you're a guy. First of all, you're a guy, and your voice, you went up there, and it's like, whoa, calm down. Oh God. Calm down. That's all I was saying. Is like, just don't yell at me, and that's it. And I think that's really what it is. Like, he like, I'm gonna yell at you, you know, and it just went left, and it became something that it really wasn't supposed to be. But that is my experience with a Cancer, and like, I mean, I really don't have too much like negative things to say about Cancers. I've never had like a crazy bad experience with a Cancer.
I barely survived that first one, honestly.
I
barely survived that first one. That was like really intense.
I mean, I know both of the Cancers that she speaks of, so like, yes, I can speak on those Cancers, but
as far as for yourself,
as far as for myself, my niece's dad is definitely like, see, I don't know him in the way that she knows him. Right. You get what I'm saying?
So from your point of view,
from my point of view, he definitely is a dickhead for sure. But I mean,
he'll tell you that.
But he'll
definitely tell you that.
I can say that my brother is an asshole, for sure.
And he'll let you know he's an asshole. And sometimes he that's fun to him. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying.
So it just depends on.
Absolutely.
It depends on what mood he's in.
It depends on what mood they're in. And sometimes they can take shit a little bit too far.
They can take it far.
They can take shit a little bit too far. They don't know when to fucking chill.
Sometimes they chill like that.
They chill when it's broke.
One thing about a Cancer, they gonna take it too fucking far. Wherever you trying to take it, they gonna take it. Like, yo, you really.
I can definitely say that for sure. Cause take it too far. Word vomit, maybe.
Yes.
Don't know when to shut up.
Going to tell like, you they exactly don't, what they think.
Exactly, like, you know.
Yeah. And I'm like, why would you say that? Like, yo, but then sometimes I say shit that it's like, okay, right? Why would you say that? But
right, exactly.
And if you put it together, it's like it's gonna be a great time. No. It's gonna be up like a Cancer Aquarius, baby.
Yeah, so I definitely
it's gonna be up.
Yeah, I really don't know. Like, as far as, you know, the cheating shit, nutty or whatever.
Yeah, nutty and mature. But you know.
Nutty and mature.
I feel like you gotta, I feel like it depends on the outlook. That particular cancer's outlook on life is just different. They're very like, I want to be free, I want to do my thing. And that's that. And if you can deal with that, cool. That could be, you know, a good look for you. If you can deal with that, if that's what you want. But if you want monogamy, you gotta get a cancer who wants that. Because if they in a bag, if you get a cancer and they in a bag, I think you just let them be in a bag. And
how like anybody in a bag to be completely honest, then let them be. If they tell you that this is not what I want, then yeah, go ahead about your business, sir.
Go on about your business.
Good day.
Carry on.
Good day.
Good day, sir. I said good day, honestly.
Yeah, for real.
But if they are, you know, open and ready, oh my God, it could be a beautiful thing. Because like, I feel like, you know, I know the cancer that I have now, my husband, man, all about me. You know what I mean? All about me. He's very thoughtful. He just thinks about like what I like, the little things, you know what I mean? So like, there's that.
Yeah.
It's definitely, yeah. Cancers, man. What you gonna do with them? Honestly. The chemistry and the connection, though, it definitely goes deep. Like you said, that shit is deep.
Yeah, it's definitely
deep. When it's there. When it's there, it's a deep ass connection.
It's crazy.
Deep. So.
But yes, so I really, it's good vibes with cancers. Like I said, I will say, I can't, to women cancer, I would say, you know, definitely speak up a little bit more. When you have something to say, don't like bottle your emotions. And it's crazy coming from me, because sometimes I bottle stuff up. But see, if somebody is speaking to me in a certain way that I don't sit well, I'm going to let you know.
Yeah.
So that's the difference. Like with cancer women, I feel like, or my experience, I can't speak for all, but I definitely felt like, you know, just let me know, you know, or let whoever know. If you feel like, okay, you're coming across this way, I feel like you're talking to me this way, express yourself. Don't be afraid to express yourself, you know.
I feel like sometimes with cancers, they expect you to know how they feel. And it's like, I don't know how you feel. You know what I mean? Like, with my experience, women and the men, like, they expect you to know how they felt. Like, and you're like, no, you gotta tell me, because I don't know. You know, we coming from two different backgrounds. Like, I don't know. You have to let me know that bothers you. Let me know your boundaries. You know what I mean? Because when I just was getting with my husband, I was like used to being free in a free spirit. You know what I mean? They like, oh no, you got to reel that shit in a little bit. You know what I mean? That's not okay to do boom, boom, boom. I'm like, you're right. You're definitely right. You're right. So it's like, you know, you have to communicate. You got to communicate, because nobody's going to just know off the rip.
Definitely have to communicate. And yeah, that's it. And not just with anybody. Like, if you're feeling a certain way, just express yourself. You know, be open and let people know. Because like you said, you have to communicate. Like, how am I supposed to know how you're feeling about something that I'm just, this is who I am. Do you know what I mean? And I don't see this as a problem. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, you have to let me know.
Talk about it. You know, okay, you know. All right, cool. I see where you're coming from.
And I see where you're coming, exactly. So that's really it. But
for these cancers. But let us know what you thought. Like, if you guys had, you know, any dealings with cancers, if you are a cancer, let us know your survival stories.
Yes, if you have any survival stories. Mine is like a little bit of both. Like,
it's like,
come on, bro.
I know they out here. It's the fourth wilding out. Yeah.
But I feel like my story was like a little bit of both. It was a survival story, and like, it was a sweet story, but it definitely survived.
Definitely survival.
Baby.
Ups and downs.
Baby, definitely a roller coaster ride.
It's gonna be fun. Buckle up, baby. Buckle up for them cancers, baby, for cancer season. Alright?
But they are loving people.
Yeah.
I feel like they have good hearts.
They do. Sure. In general, I really do. I feel that. For sure.
For sure. A little misunderstood, maybe.
Yeah. Definitely.
Crazy, maybe.
A little bit.
But
I like crazy.
Sweet people. Sweet people. Sweet people. So leave those comments. Let us know if you have a survival story. Are you a cancer that somebody had to survive? Okay?
Somebody had to escape. No?
Escape? No, for real. For real. But yes, let us know. And also email us at BigMamaEnergy@
gmail.com.
Okay, and if you want to be anonymous, discreet,
we can keep that.
We can
keep it that way.
We can keep it that way. Okay, let us know, and also just let us know what you want to hear from us. Okay. And as always, remember to like,
share,
comment,
and subscribe.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.